multi-streaming service so that I can live stream on 3 platforms. So whether you're seeing this on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch, you should have a chat window by the side, and I'm going to open them up here so that I can see who might be responding, and I can uh, respond to you in real time. And one of the nice things about streaming from Zoom to Restream, and that goes to all the different channels on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, is that it allows me to do one video to multiple people if I have this set up right. And so this is me checking out if I can do this with 3 audiences. Um, and hopefully, if all this works, or hopefully as I learn how to do all of this, I can engage with people that might be interested in the things that I'm interested in, and I can be of help to more people beyond those who are in the same room physically that I am currently in. And let's see. Okay, so I have turned on my chat room on Twitter, and I'm just turned on my room on Twitch. And then I need to turn off the audio so that I don't get the feedback on my Twitch, so I don't hear myself talking. I don't know how the radio and TV broadcasters that wear a headphone that's supposed to give themselves feedback or monitor their own voice and yet still talk. I don't know how to do that, even though I've been podcasting since 2012. If you can believe that, that's 8 years, just over 8 years ago. And then now I need to open up my Facebook page and see if that is getting to the right place. Because with Facebook, you can actually send a live stream to your personal page as well as your um, a group or a page. So I just opened that up, and let's see. And I believe the way that works is when people send in a chat, it goes into my comment thread. So I've opened up all 3 screens. They're right here. I have Facebook Live, Twitch Live, and YouTube Live. All the chat windows are open. Your comments are welcome. Thank you for dropping in if you're taking a peek. And I want to respond to you in real time if you have a question or comment. Our world is topsy-turvy with the global pandemic stretching into almost its 1-year mark, just 2 months away, as well as our country is in a very tenuous situation given the riots or insurrection or the protests there at the Capitol just a few days ago. And personally, I've got some various thoughts on my mind. But now that I've gone through the paces here, I have, for the very first time, done this, and I can see 3 chat windows, and you can respond. And it's amazing. There on Twitch, there are hundreds of people that will watch someone talk on screen, even thousands. Playing video games, for one, the majority are there to watch people play video games. And then there are those that are just talking to the camera. There's a channel or a category on Twitch called Just Chatting. And people can just look at the camera and watch the chat room and respond in real time and have a participatory, interactive conversation there. And people seem to enjoy themselves. And certainly the person on camera would be enjoying that interaction and that conversation. And there's a lot of possibilities in doing all of that. And I'll be exploring that on some future live streams if this makes sense for some viewers. And I'm looking to build tons of viewers. I just need a handful. And then if that's meaningful to the handful of people, I'm good with it. I'm not here to do an audience of one for me, but if it's an audience one for you, I would be happy to have that one-on-one conversation with you. But you need to respond, add a comment, or send a message in the chat window, then we can have that conversation without you being on camera and without you using your voice. So I know a majority of people are camera shy. That's just what the numbers tell us. So getting on video is the biggest hurdle. The second hurdle is even using your voice because people don't know what to say. And then the third, chatting, is probably the easiest of those three. And then there's the rest of the people that don't do any of those three things. They don't get on video, they don't use their voice, and they don't use chat. They just watch and consume. And certainly those are the big majority of people. That's like 90% of people don't use any of those three. And that's just where people are currently. But boy, those 10% that are using their voices and chatting and tweeting and doing video, they are certainly loud. And that was one of the biggest contributions to biggest factor that caused our Capitol riots because of a few loud voices shouting about election fraud, which some people believe, other people don't believe, and not enough people, and the process was not able to be put into motion to verify the factuality of whether election fraud occurred or not. That may still be researched by some unbiased or even biased people, in the same way the 92 elections had questionable election results in the state of Florida. And that election was resolved by a Supreme Court decision, if I remember correctly. And then there's Wikipedia entry that breaks down the different methods that were used to verify the actual election results. And even in doing that, there's different results depending on what you count as a vote. What is a legitimate vote? And I asked this question on my Facebook timeline a month or so ago when the election results were being contested. And the thing is, as much as our democracy, make sure this is not rubbing against my face here, the mic, as much as our democracy rests on the foundation of fair democratic elections from the people, because once you elect people, they're in office, they make decisions for the next year, 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. That vote is the biggest decision that we have in the say of who is governing our country or our state or our city, depending on what level we're talking about. And my question was, what is it going to take to get fair and legitimate results with elections across the board in a bipartisan manner that everyone can agree with? And a old friend of mine, because we're similar age, but also we've known each other for a long time, so old in both senses of that word. He has more political experience than most people because he worked in that machinery in the past, and he succinctly and clearly described it that getting fair and bipartisan agreement on how to count votes is a political thing in and of itself, that there's currently not agreement on what is a legitimate vote that is agreed upon by Republicans and Democrats. So that's where the stalemate is. Even though the votes are being counted by states that are supposed to be bipartisan, apparently one side, usually the loser side, well, always the loser side will contest and challenge the actual voting results because they lost. What do you want to call that? Sore loser syndrome or whatever. That's the election thing. That's where I'll leave that conversation. I'm not getting chat results because I didn't pre-announce that I was going to do this live stream, and I didn't pre-announce the topic that I would be talking about. So those are two things for those of you that are considering how to do a live stream and how to engage with an audience. Two things to engage with an audience that is helpful. One is pre-announce the time that you're going to go live so people can plan to be there. Don't do it unscheduled and spontaneously. That will less likely connect with your audience unless you have a huge audience that's constantly monitoring your feed or with notifications. And then secondly, define the topic you're going to talk about, because then people can decide whether they would plan to be there for the live stream. So those are two things that are most helpful to engage with the audience. And I'm assuming that if you're on a live stream, you're not just monologuing, you want to connect with the audience. But if you don't want to connect with the audience and you just want to create videos, hey, feel free to do that, whether you live stream it, pre-record it, post-produce it. That's your choice. It's a free, well, mostly free country for you to publish your opinions online at a place like YouTube or Vimeo. But also this week, we are beginning to see that big tech has some level of content control and filtering of what's allowed and what's not allowed. President Trump's Twitter account has been prohibited for life, which I think is a bit too drastic. I think a timeout would be reasonable. I think a prohibition until he's out of office might have been reasonable, but permanently ban, permanent is just not a thing that we are well conceived of in the digital world of big tech. So I do question that decision, that permanence of that decision. I would welcome you to chat back, see what you would like me to talk about or what you would like to talk about. And actually, because I'm doing this on Zoom, I can invite you in to this Zoom room and we can talk on air, whether you just want to show your voice or you want to jump on video and can talk live. And I'll close with this thought. I recently, just in the last week, thank you, Nancy Lee, for inviting me into Clubhouse. And from day one, love at first sight, I love Clubhouse because you don't have to define your topic and it's unscheduled, spontaneous conversations. And so those play into my favor in terms of my personal preferences. But I know my personal preferences don't fit the majority of the audience that most people are. And if I'm going to connect with people where they are, I have to accommodate and give in to their preferences and not expect people to meet my preferences. You know what I'm saying? So Clubhouse is awesome because people can just use their voice and not do video. So people are very conscientious of how they look. That's why we have makeup. That's why we have camera shyness. That's why people are not comfortable on Zoom and so on and so on. And the voice thing seems to work a lot better for a lot more people. The idea of serendipitous conversations with people interested in the same topic or people that just like to talk with total strangers or potential acquaintances. Clubhouse has been a phenomenal place. Right now it is iPhone only, and I have already given away all my invites. So when they renew my invite count, if you would like an invite, message me on one of these windows. If you're watching this video, you are watching it on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. So if you would like an invite, let me know. So the next time I have a round of invites, I'd love to bring you into Clubhouse, and Clubhouse accommodates both kinds of preferences. You can have unscheduled, spontaneous conversation, but you can also have scheduled, defined topics for conversations. So, awesome platform, engaging people interactively in real time. So most of your other social media is non-real time. Clubhouse is real-time interaction, conversational. So people who are there want to talk and want to listen. Because the people that only want to talk and don't listen, the audience will leave. Unless the person that's talking is someone that's popular and a lot of people just want to hear them talk. I got to hear TD Jakes talk on the first day I was on the app. That was pretty neat. Really neat. Really cool. And then I've met a handful of really interesting people so far. Again, thank you, Nancy, my season 3 co-host on the Erasing Shame podcast. And my closing thought is season 5 is just around the corner. We'll be recording season 5, episode 1 on January 23rd. And then we will release that on the following week, which would be possibly January 28th. I might move that up. Traditionally, we've released new episodes of Erasing Shame on Thursdays, but I might move that up to Tuesday or Wednesday or even Monday. I'll check with my new co-hosts and see what's a good date to do that. It doesn't matter too much, but it matters to some people that are more time sensitive and like things being regularly scheduled. Okay, those are my thoughts in the moment, thinking out loud. Thank you for watching this video if you made it this far. And I'll give you an Easter egg. So since you've made it this far, I put a little Easter egg cash prize on my Anchor FM feed with some podcast audio episodes there where you can listen in on my most raw and immediate thoughts that I drop over there. Anchor.fm/DJ Chuang cash prize. If you can find the audio episode with the instructions on how to cash in. It has not yet been claimed. It's been sitting there for over a week, almost 2 weeks. So that's the clue on finding the instructions for how to get the cash prize. Money is a great motivator for most people. So if you would like some free cash, find the instructions on how to get it in one of my recent episodes on anchor.fm/DJ Chuang. Thanks for watching. Love to hear from you.